Yeah, because I could feel it. I was like trying to land, and I was just like I couldn't get in the center. I was like, this is gonna be a horrible video. I'm sure you know by now, we don't typically head to the same airport very often, but this next one is one of our staples for visiting family, and what better reason to fly somewhere than family.
Bullhead Tower, Ever 1939 Hotel on the RNAV GPS runway 16 approach over Lackey with Bravo full stop.
November 1939 Hotel, Bullhead Tower, report the final approach fix.
Report, final approach fix, 39 Hotel.
This is probably one of the easiest airports we visit, and we really do enjoy how convenient it is, but until recently, we really tried avoiding it, and we'll get to why that was. What's interesting is that we now know many pilots that fly here for a river getaway or because they also have family here, and during our recent visit, we also found out that there's a lot of new construction in the city of Bullhead, with even talks of an airport expansion. And oh, there is a reason why the identifier is India Foxtrot Papa. And yes, IFP is actually an acronym. We'll discuss all that as we visit Laughlin Bullhead International Airport in Bullhead, Arizona.
Bullhead Tower, 6 from Mecca, go 5 miles south.
Cherokee 39er Hotel, stay position.
2 miles from the final approach fix, 39 Hotel.
Cherokee 39er Hotel, roger. Cherokee 3, or Cirrus 3 Mike Echo, prior to the departure end of runway 16, circle to the west, enter right downwind, report midfield.
Right, prior to the approach end, we'll enter to the west, a right downwind 16, 3 Mike Echo.
So the first time we ever visited this airport, I was in my training infancy for my private. I think at that time I had only been flying for about maybe a month. But of course we had to check out the airport. My dad had just moved here, and I remember it was 115 degrees. But that didn't matter because we knew we would hopefully be flying into this airport in the future. And at that time, we never thought it would be in our own plane. I remember vividly watching a group of 3 people get into a Piper Comanche, again in 115 degree weather. And when they departed, I was so jealous, wishing it was us getting in that hot box with wings. I mean, at the time in my training, I was just trying to manage the debt I would go into to learn to fly. So the last thought was, hey, next time we come, it'll be in our own plane. But that's exactly what happened probably almost a year later. Just crazy. But if you think we're just used to it by now and it's like driving a car, honestly, every takeoff, we look outside the window and it still feels surreal.
Bullhead Tower, Ever 1939 Hotel, over the final approach fix, METAR.
Arrow 39er Hotel, roger, continue.
Continue, 39 Hotel.
So we always talk about the reason why a lot of these airports were created, and the answer, at least in SoCal, has typically been because of World War II. This airport, though, was not created because of a war, it was because of a dam, Davis Dam to be exact, located 2 miles north. The state of Arizona bought the land in 1943 for the construction of the dam, and the employees of that construction project also built the airport, which they used to transfer both equipment and personnel. Then in 1953, 10 years later, the dam was finally complete and became the start of the residential development in the area. During the 80s and 90s, flights were mostly between Phoenix, Las Vegas, and Southern California with over a dozen different airlines. But ultimately, most were unprofitable and closed shop at the airport, with today having no scheduled flights available.
Bullhead Tower, 63 Mike Echo, midfield right downwind 16, request touch and go and departure to the north.
All right, 3 Mike Echo, roger.
Bullhead Airport is a Class Delta with one huge runway, 1634 at 8,500 feet at an elevation of 707 feet. Tower hours are from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. local time, and switches to a Golf Class airport after hours, which means using the Common Traffic Advisory Frequency or CTAF. Another thing to note about Tower is that it does not have radar. So it's important that you maintain your situational awareness of where you are at all times in case tower asks you to report your current location, which is almost guaranteed that they will. That is why on departure, once you've exited the Delta airspace, let tower know and that you're asking for a frequency change, and then you should be all set. I'll call it when we depart so you can hear what it sounds like. And oh yeah, it's always Bullhead Tower, never Laughlin Tower.
November 3 Mike Echo, no undue delay for your base. Turn runway 16, clear for the option.
With the option 16, no, I'll turn base immediately. 63 Mike Echo.
Cherokee 39er Hotel, report a beam to dam.
Report a beep to dam, 39er Hotel.
The airport does have RNAV instrument approaches for both ends of the runway and a VOR approach for runway 34. And as a matter of fact, today we decided to come in on the RNAV GPS runway 16 because when we departed Southern California, there was a layer of clouds we had to get above, and the IFR route was pretty much the same as our VFR route except at a higher 11,000 feet.
November 39er Hotel, disregard the reporting point, runway 16, clear to land.
Runway 16 clear to land, 39er Hotel.
Sometimes I like doing IFR approaches in VMC to test all the equipment on the plane, like the autopilot, and generally to get a sense of what it would feel like if we were indeed to have to do an IFR approach in IMC weather. And I say that because you wouldn't believe me if we hadn't recorded this next snippet of audio for much earlier on the approach. But just as I mentioned to Irene that we were doing the approach to make sure the autopilot was working just fine, well, I'll just let you hear it.
This is good to do VFR too, just so we could test, make sure everything's still working good, autopilot, all that.
GPSS.
What happened?
I don't know. It didn't say it engaged or disengaged, it just said GPSS.
Yeah, literally as I'm saying we need to check the autopilot, it stops working. So I disengage it and fly it back on course. Now, I either jinxed it or it validated the VMC testing of the autopilot on the approach. Either way, at minimum, now I know I need to keep an eye on it even more. Note, this isn't the first time we've done procedure approaches with the autopilot. I did it many times during my second half of my IFR training and even during my check ride, so it could have been a fluke, but thanks to my instrument CFI John, I've had a lot of hand flying approaches and doing turns in the clouds. Again, always best to test your equipment in VMC. We definitely want to upgrade our avionics, but two things prevent that. Money, of course, and second, downtime. I mean, can you imagine us not flying for over 2 weeks? Yeah, us either. We definitely need another plane. Let's talk about the weather. It's nearly always windy, or we just come in on windy days. But the great thing is that it's usually right down the runway because of the valley the hills create on either side of the river. We arrived in 30-knot winds, but the winds were so laminar that surprisingly it was smooth and made for a soft, no flaps landing. On the other hand, we've departed in 20-knot winds and we were bouncing all over the place. Today we would get the latter. This area is typically a pretty dry place that rarely rains. When we visit, it is between the months of October and April because outside of that, you can expect temperatures to consistently be above 100 degrees. We did visit in July one time, and that was the last time. Temperatures were up to 128 degrees on the car thermostat. That puts density altitude at nearly 5,000 feet. So this is definitely that hot Arizona temperature. Now, there is no commercial traffic, but there is an airline that does charter flights for the casinos called Sun Country, which flies 737. So even though it might look commercial, it's not. There's also a fair share of military that come into here. For example, on this trip, at night, a couple of Ospreys did some approaches and headed south. One consistent piece of traffic is Mercy Air helicopters that take patients to the nearby hospital, so always keep an ear and eye out for them. So there is a 24/7 ARFF on the field, and one day we drove to the front entrance just to check it out. My brother at the time was trying to be a fireman, now he's an ER tech, but he got to speak to the fireman that was there, and we even got a quick tour of the facilities, which were extremely impressive. We're trying to get the tower tour next, mostly for the stories of all the military that visit, which include the time the 747 Air Force One variant landed here.
November 39er Hotel, if able, turn left next taxiway. Contact ground 118.25.
Left next taxiway and over to ground, 39er Hotel.
All right, let's talk about this FBO. So for years, Signature was located here, and it was expensive to say the least. Since they sold the FBO to the County of Mojave last year, 2024, around September, it's now called Touch Go FBO, and general aviation has gone up 18% in that short time. There's even talks of trying to get self-service fuel pumps installed, as well as a maintenance shop on the field. We can tell you from experience that fuel prices are finally comparable to levels at our home airport, only about 3 cents higher. The last time we were here, we paid $6.57. Today, it's $6.02 with no extra fees at all, as long as you purchase 15 gallons of fuel, which was easy for us since we usually use between 15 and 20 gallons on this trip. Probably also helps that there are also no landing fees for aircraft under 4,000 pounds gross weight.
Bullhead ground arrow 1939er Hotel, clear of 16 Alpha 5 for the FBO.
Number 1939er Hotel, Bullhead ground, taxi as requested via Alpha 5.
Taxi via Alpha 5, 39er Hotel, thank you.
It seems that Bullhead really is investing in all types of aviation, including general aviation, which is really refreshing. Seriously, every single person that we interacted with was extremely helpful and courteous. One of the gentlemen at the desk at the FBO, Robert, even impressed Irene. We had pulled the plane out of the parking spot to face into the wind because it was extremely windy and we didn't want the doors flying open and damaging something. After 15 minutes of us doing our pre-flight, he came out to check on us, asked if everything was okay. We assured him that we were just doing a very thorough pre-flight check, but just that act spoke volumes of the type of service that they have there now. So thank you so much, Robert. So all the left side is FBO parking, and as you can see, there's plenty of it, and all with tie-down chains. We used to park on the right side, and we think you still can, but it looks like the T's are much bigger now, probably indicating that they are for bigger jets. Either way, you should have no problem finding parking. Oh yeah, and as you can see, there is that Mercy Air helicopter traffic I was talking about earlier. All right, now time to show you around with what could be one of our new favorite FBOs. I think it helped that we called, because I think maybe that's why he was here. But yeah, this is a very different experience than when Signature was here. And everybody just seems crazy friendly. We hadn't even parked and fuel was already there. Again, just an example of how much this place has changed. It's awesome. When I looked at the weather here, it said by 9 o'clock it was gonna be windy. And it wasn't wrong. ForeFlight's is pretty good. One of the things with these chains is a lot of times they're not meant for low wings, and even this is too long. So what I do is I run this through the bottom of this and then pull it. There you go. Now, some of you might already know this trick. I didn't know this trick, and once I found out, I was really excited, so I wanted to share it with you guys. And it's because it does get windy here. As a matter of fact, the lady at the FBO asked us multiple times, are we sure we secured the plane? Because the next day they were expecting 40-mile-an-hour winds. I assured her we had. We even had the yoke strap, we had the chocks, we had everything we could to make sure Hannah was secure. Flying is very hazardous to cameras. We just dropped this camera, but it's not a big deal. Everything looks fine. The screen's working. Right now we're going to the FBO. It's the only one on the field, but it's actually a really good one now. When we used to come, the prices were $37 a night for one night. And then that wasn't including all the other fees. Now, after the county took it over and Signature sold it to them, it's about $15 a night. Big difference. And no fees. So, but as you can see, there is a ton of ramp space, a ton. So if you come here, you won't have any problems. The only time you will have a problem, F1 racing, when Vegas has it, because a lot of people will come over here.
Well, and there's also an event
the event fee. So yeah, so if you guys watch our Vegas one, that event fee, yeah, it applies to this airport too, even though it's like 50 miles away. I don't know what this is. One of the toughest things to get at any FBO is some price transparency. And the cool thing about this one is that they have a screen that tells you all the pricing, so there's no surprises. We've been to this airport more than a handful of times, and in those times we've never visited the crew lounge, which is a shame because we always leave our stuff out in the front. We try to use the bathrooms, we make sure somebody stays back with the stuff so nobody messes with it. And after finally visiting it to just film this video, we're definitely going to take advantage of it every time we come. We found this mid-air collision avoidance pamphlet that had all these military aircraft. Irene's thought was more like, let's go through the pamphlet and find them all. Now they don't have free snacks or drinks, but at the prices of the overnight fees and fuel, we have no problem buying our own snacks and our own drinks. But I do love the free fancy coffee. And one of Irene's favorite perks of these FBOs are the magazines, so we couldn't leave without her getting her fix. And this is their crew car. It was perfect for what we needed. We weren't that far. They used to have a big white van. I don't know if they still have it or not. Either way, it's free, and so we love taking advantage of this and having that as an option. My dad lives here in Bullhead area, and so we come here quite often. What we do is just take the crew car, go pick up my dad's car, and then head back. So it's really, we only need it for like maybe 20 minutes. It's not that long. But now we're gonna go get some food.
Because we're hungry.
Because we're hungry. I always underestimate how long a trip takes from getting to the airport to locking Hannah up. It's like 3 hours about.
Yeah. So pro tip to anyone who's traveling, always make sure you eat before you fly. And I tell Roger this all the time. He never listens. Never. He never listens.
I've never heard her say that once. So like I said, my dad lives here, and it's a perfect airport for us to fly into because it's secure, and with a 150-foot wide runway, it's a little more forgiving on those windy days. There used to be an air show here, and we came the last 2 years, but unfortunately this year they canceled it due to not enough revenue being generated, but hopefully next year it comes back. Oh yeah, I did mention we'd let you know what IFP stands for, you know, the identifier of the airport. Well, it stands for International Fun Place. And the reason it has the word international in it was because in 1994, when the name was changed to Laughlin Bullhead International Airport, it had charter flights from Canada.
Good afternoon, Bullhead Ground, Aero 1903, Manor Hotel, just south of the FBO, with golf ready to taxi.
Aero 1903, Nana Hotel, Bullhead Ground, runway 16, taxi via Alpha 3, Alpha, say direction of departure.
16 via Alpha 3, Alpha, and we're doing a straight out departure to the south, 39er Hotel.
We really do enjoy this airport, especially now with the city running the FBO, because it's easy, calm, and plenty of parking with all really good rates. The approach along the river is pretty spectacular too, and the departure, especially when you take off 34 and then make a left downwind departure with the view of the hotels, is pretty awesome. We really can't recommend coming here enough if you're considering it. The first level of thanks we want to give is those who actually gave us super thanks, and that's Chris at eChrisHope, Boss at MyOwnBoss1, and KR at KR60R. I know I made up first names for a couple of you guys, but of course we just really wanted to let you know how grateful we are for just your generosity. Again, we're still lost for words at times, so thank you. All right, so we just released memberships, and we were really concerned Patreon would be a barrier since it would mean you'd have to sign up for a new platform, and that was not the case at all. You guys really leaned into the Patreon membership, and we really appreciate it. So we want to thank Chris, Tony, and Rich. You guys are amazing. You guys signed up before we really even have anything on there, but we promise we'll get something up there soon. And finally, as we always say, thank you so much for the comments. We really thought last week's airport of 29 Palms would be a sleepy video, and it ended up performing much better than we thought. And we were kind of shocked, to be honest. But you guys proved that these airports are much more than just asphalt and concrete. There are stories from airports as busy as LAX or as desolate as 29 Palms. And from the sounds of it, 29 Palms Airport had an impact on many of you, and we feel so fortunate and honored that you chose to share those stories with us. So truly, thank you. We'll see you guys again next week, and until then, go fly, go discover.
Bullhead Tower, Aero 19039 Hotel, holding short 16 Alpha 1 for a straight out departure.
Aero 19039 Hotel, Bullhead Tower, straight out departure approved for runway 16, clear for takeoff.
Straight out approved, 16 clear for takeoff, 39 Hotel.
Bullhead Tower, fire 1610, holding short runway 16 at Alpha 1, like to proceed fully for inspection.
Fire 1610, Bullhead Tower, proceed on runway 16, report off.
Fire 1610, proceeding on runway 16, reporting off.
Bullhead Tower, Aero 19039 Hotel, leaving Delta, requesting frequency change.
Aero 39 Hotel, frequency change approved. See ya.
Frequency change approved, 39 Hotel, see ya.
Bullhead Tower, fire 1610 is off, runway 16 at Alpha 9er.
Fire 1610, roger. Contact ground, see ya.
Contact ground, see ya.
Tower Cherokee 42982 is 12 miles west of the field, inbound for a full stop.
Cherokee calling Bullhead Tower, say again your numbers.
42982.
Verifies 42982.
Affirmative.
Cherokee 42982, Bullhead Tower, say your position.
2 miles west of the airfield.
Cherokee 982.
There's a jet down there.
Report 5 miles, information, hotels on the ATIS, altimeter 2988.
A small jet, but a jet nonetheless.
5 miles, have information, hotel 42982. Bullhead Tower, Cherokee 42982 is 5 miles west of the airfield.
Cherokee 982, you better set up to enter downwind or right base.
Downwind, please.
Cherokee 982, roger. Port entering a right downwind, runway 16.
Right downwind, runway 16, 42982. departure to the tower, Cherokee 42982, final is 16.
Cherokee 982, runway 16, clear land.
Okay, so then runway 16, 42982.
Guess we can switch.
LA Center, Bonanza 532 Charlie, level 10.5.
November 532 Charlie, LA Center, Roger, or the Kingman altimeter 2996.
2996 for 32 Charlie.
Good afternoon, LA Center, Airport 19039 Hotel, 2 miles west of Needles, VFR request.
Aircraft with flight plan request, say again, call sign.
November 19039 Hotel.
November 19039 Hotel, LA Center, squawk 7667.
7667, 39er Hotel.
$32.549 Tango, call.
Right, 39 Hotel, radar contact about 15 miles southwest of Needles Vortex, altitude indicates 8,500, say aircraft type and destination.
39 Hotel's a PA-28 Romeo Slant Golf destination Corona Alpha Juliet Oscar.
Right, 39 Hotel, roger, and Needles altimeter 2991.
2991, 39 Hotel.
LA 785, Mike, flight level 250, cross spies at flight level 240.
November 785, Mike, LA Center, roger.
How's it getting chilly?
A little bit.
Big try 303,
It was just so
descending
hot.
Rounders, 3 arrival, runway 26 left, Las Vegas altimeter 2988 at Rounders, resume public speed.
Santa Via, the Rounders 3, expect 26 left, 19 right on request, and publish speeds by Rounders, big try 350.